So, as always, the code for this question will be in the description, but if you want the explanation, you can continue watching this video. See, the thing is, this question, I don't know whether it's hard for you or not, but I'll tell you one thing. You need to learn about XOR, that's it, and you will know how to do it. And the other thing is, notice the constraints, okay? I'll explain to you basically what the question is. See, they'll give you a certain number of numbers, whatever it is. Take 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the players, and above they'll give you these variables, which is, for example, take 333. It's the test case given there. This will be n, this will be m, and this will be k. Now, what are these values? What is n? What is m? What is k? Basically, in that they said that they're playing a game, and it's a team game like Call of Duty and all of these. They said some name. Most weirdest names these Codeforces guys come up with. Okay, they have really good, like their mind is really sharp and intelligent, but when it comes to creativity, they're okay. So put that aside. M. What is M? M is the number of players. Actually, M plus 1 is the number of players because you are also playing the game. Okay. So M is the other players which are playing the game apart from you. What is N? In the game there are multiple soldiers or whatever it is. There are multiple types of soldiers. Soldier 1, soldier 2, bigger soldier, even bigger soldier. So this is N, which basically means that the number of soldier types that are there. And let me tell you one thing. How this N is represented is by these numbers. Now how does that mean? What does that mean? Basically means that here it's 1, right? 1, 0, 0. This is binary representation, right? For 2 it's 0, 1, 0. For 3 it's 0, 1, 1. For 4 it's 1, 0, 0, right? So here what they're basically telling us is, given this 1, this is a number of soldiers that a particular player has, and but there are multiple types, right? In this case there are 3 types of soldiers. How do you know with this number for that this player will have this soldier? So the binary representation of that number. Now this is the binary representation of 1. Take this as player 1, player 2, player 3, player u. So player 1 has this. What is this? There are 3 numbers, right? 3 digits, because n is 3, which means that take this as soldier 1, S1, S2, S3. Now player 1 has soldier 1. He has the type soldier 1, and he does not have soldier 2 and soldier 3. Player 2 has soldier 2 and does not have 3 and 1. Player 3 has both 2 and 1, and player 4 has only 3 and neither 2 and 1. So that's basically how this thing works. You make the binary representation, and whatever number it coincides with 1 is the soldier that the player has. In this case, you have 3. Okay, so I explained N, M, and what these numbers are, and this is U. What is K? See, you think that for some reason K means that you think for some reason that if the number of different soldiers between the same category of soldiers, the difference between them is at most K, then you both will become friends. I don't know why you think that way, but okay, you think that way. Which basically means that take for this one. For example, this. In which case we'll take this case. Okay. In this case, the number of soldiers at most difference for different is, in this case you don't have S3 and you have S3 and he doesn't have S3 too. Okay. You don't have S2 and he has, you don't have S2 and he has S2, and both of you don't have S1. So this basically means that for this, these numbers are different, but these two are same, which basically means that the difference is 2, which is less than 3. So for some reason you think he's going to leave you. 2 is going to leave you, he's going to be friends with you. He won't, but the question says that. So same for 3. But 3, what happens is, this is different, This is different now, even this is different. Now all of them are different. But since k is 3, the difference can be at most 3 and equal to 3. So you think that 4 and 3 will also, you and 3 will also become friends, you and 2 will also become friends, you same for 1. These two are different, these two are different. This is same. So 2. You think all of them will become friends, everyone will become friends. Friendship is friendship hoga. So how do you know this thing? That is a basic question. So if k, given the k value m and n, you're supposed to print out the number of friends you can form. Okay, that's the question. See, now I rubbed everything on this board because it's all clutter in your mind. See, thing is, boil it down. What you're supposed to find actually. The rest of the thing you can just write for loops and while loops and you get the code you're supposed to want. The actual code, after all the loops come in, what is the code inside the loop, the innermost loop, what is the code you're supposed to write? Here is, you're supposed to check whether yours and your particular opponent's binary values match or not. Whether both of them are 0 or both of them are 1. That's what you're supposed to find. Now tell me, which operation does this match with? Think on your own. Of course you're not going to think it's XOR, okay? XOR is basically the thing that you're supposed to use. I'll tell you how. 1 0 1 1 0 1. Some number. 1 0 0 1 1 1. Okay. This is the numbers. This is you, this is your opponent. Now, XOR dictates that if two numbers are same, it will become 0. That's it. If it's 1 1 or 0 0, it will become 0. For the rest of them, for this same for this one, same for this one. For the rest of them, if it's 1 1, then it will become 1. Now why does, now look at this thing, notice this thing. If it's same, it will cancel out. So this is same, this is same, this is the same thing, right? So it will cancel out. The different ones you will get 1. So if you XOR your value, the value you have, the number you have with your opponents, and you create a binary representation of that, the number of ones is the number of different soldiers you have. So this basically means that if you look at the constraints too, it's not big enough to the point where you can't do it this way. But what you can basically do is, you can start with yours, you can take your number, and you can loop through all the numbers which are not yours, the opponent's numbers, and you can XOR each and every one of them with yours. The number you will get will be this number. What you'll do is you make it a binary form and you just check for each and every one value. For each and every one value, in those cases, the soldiers you have and your opponent has a different. You keep adding them, you check the count. If the count does not exceed the at most count, that means it's good. I mean, you can make friends with this guy. You think you can make friends with this guy, and you can increment the answer by 1. And if that's not the case, at some point, no, the count is actually exceeding it. You can break it. You can break out of the loop, and you can go to the next opponent. You can do the same thing for each and every one of those. That's basically the answer. If you look at the code, it's simple. So the thing was, you're supposed to realize first things first. You look at the constraints and you understand that the question that they're asking you can be brute force in a way. It's not brute force, but you can brute force it in a way. And XOR helps you with this thing. If it wasn't for XOR, what you'll do is you'll take this binary, your opponent's binary, your binary, you'll go through each and every iteration, you'll check whether it's equal or not. You can't do that, but if you XOR it, you can just check for one time. You can, instead of checking it for both of them are equal, XORing, you look clever. For example, if this comes in an interview, if you do that thing, the interviewer will think you're stupid, okay, which you mostly are, because you think you'll make friends with guys because they have different soldiers from you. But okay, let's assume that you're not stupid. So what you'll do is you'll XOR it so that your interviewer will be impressed. Okay, he'll be like, okay, he knows what he's doing. Okay, so that's why XOR these numbers. You'll get the ones in that XOR number. The result you'll get will be the number of different soldiers. That signifies the difference between you and your opponent. And then you take the count of number of ones in that binary number should be less than the k. If it is, then good. If it is not, then no. You don't increment the answer. That's the answer basically. So yeah, if you do that thing, it's simple. I need to find an outro for my videos. What is it? For now, I'll end it with thank you. But yeah, if you solve this question, you solve it good. If you didn't solve this thing, don't look at the code even though it's there. So yeah, thank you.